Welcome to another episode of Lionel Lifts Vegas.
Well, just want to say Happy New Year. Let's get it started right. You know, it's unfortunate I missed day 3 and day 4, week 5. You know, I wasn't feeling good. I'm normally the type of person that I'll push myself and it'll end up biting me in the long run. This time, you know, I had to call it, and that's the new strength that I found this year, or last year, I should say now. With going through that injury, I've learned to slow down and to understand that it's okay sometimes to sit it out. Now, I can't say that for everybody. There's a lot of you that will sit out and then you guys will sit out. Can't have that, but you know, for me, I sat out and I'm pretty down about it. So I'm gonna enter this week amplified. I'm kind of excited. I got the meet Friday. I normally don't get super stoked until like the day before the meet. I do that to kind of stay focused. I normally don't train this close to the meet either, but I have done it before. I like the super compensation. That's when you give yourself about 7 days of rest and you don't work out at all. But come meet day, you're fresh and you normally come off stronger than normal. Dealing with traffic right now is crazy. You know, you gotta watch everybody. Goodness, we are all going somewhere. Everybody. But yeah, you know, I don't argue with my coach, man, period. My coach says do this, then do it. As long as you're putting in with the coach is asking you to do something, do it. And the reason why I say do it is because it's to the point where when it comes to the results, if you don't get results and you did everything that your coach asked you, then you got your coach to look at. But if your coach is programming you stuff and you're not doing it, then it's like, okay, now I gotta look at you. And that's why I got down on myself missing those last 2 days. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, let's not make a habit out of this. The goal is to stay focused, try to keep myself healthy. I mean, injury-free is great, but you gotta keep your immune system rocking as well, man, because that'll take you down too. Let's get to the gym. Let's get this session going. So we've already viewed day one. It's 3:58, so almost 4 a.m. I'm gonna get started. I got bench and deadlift. Now keep in mind, I'm not used to working the week of the competition. So this is new to me, but at the same time, I do like what's dialed in because it's not so much. I just want to say to you, the benefit of having a competition and competing in powerlifting is it puts your training and it puts your reasoning for being in the gym at a whole different level. It just changes the whole narrative to what it is that you're doing. Now, what I would suggest if you are not powerlifting, if you're just somebody that's going to the gym, try to challenge yourself. And if you have a coach, have your coach challenge you. Let's put some challenges in there. A goal is a goal, that's great, but let's just put some like weekly challenges in there, even a monthly challenge. Put something, just give yourself something to work towards to where you can reach. Create a hill to where you can stand at the top of the hill and say, hey, I climbed it. And you'll reap the reward from that. And that's the benefit. You can't just go to the gym and just say, I'm just going to the gym. If that is one of your goals and you make that a challenge, then that changes everything. However, most people I know, I just see them just show up and they're just there. They're kind of just wandering around with no direction. Once again, let's try to create not only a goal, but a challenge. All right, let me get into my challenge. Let's get it done. All right, so that set was an interesting one. That was the first time I've ever pulled a deadlift and then stumbled backwards like that. And I shouldn't have started the pull to begin with. I've been dealing with some hip impingement and I got to take some time out to really focus on loosening up this area here. So that way when I go for a deadlift pull, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't affect me in squat. It only affects me in deadlift. And it all depends on how I initiate the pull. There's times that with the impingement still there, still present, I'll go for a pull, don't feel it at all. So the goal is to spend some time, and it takes time to really find out where it is that the pull is successful without pain, but more importantly, taking care of the problem. Let's focus on how we can kind of alleviate the pain from the hip impingement and improve, so that way I don't have to continue to lift in this condition. But what I did is I hit that single pull, stumbled. I told myself, you already know good and well, you got to reset. You cannot count that. So that's why you saw me hit 4 instead of 3. It was a 1x3. I don't count the first one. So I went on ahead and hit 3, and then I was kind of upset. So I just went on ahead and just muscled my way through all 3. Normally, I like to reset each deadlift in my reps. And the reason why I like to reset is because I'm to the point where I have not been powerlifting long enough for me to be comfortable to just start repping my reps. I like to reset, set myself back up to kind of become consistent on my setup. I'm an extremely unpredictable human being to where I don't even know my next move. So that's why I like to do the reset, try to find some consistency there. One thing you have to understand in life is if you can be consistent at the good things, life's a lot easier. That's the hardest part, is to be consistent at the good things. It's easy to be consistent at the bad things, but get consistent at the good. All right, let's move over to bench. All right, so I must say the first half of this taper week is going well. Felt really good on bench. The bicep tendonitis has dissipated, so it's faded away. That's good. The 2 days that I missed last week, that allowed for time to rest. So I guess it worked in my favor there. However, I still feel like I'm at a loss there. So I feel like I'm making up for lost time. However, I've got to get that mental out. Gotta get it out. You cannot keep that kind of stuff in your head if you expect to proceed with progress in the future. If you're too busy looking over your shoulder, you can't see what's in front of you. Well, with that being said, it felt really good with bench today. I understand it was lightweight considered. However, I can tell by just how I was, guiding the bar down. It felt even. My scaps on the bench felt very, very nice. I didn't feel like I was pinching anything. My shoulder didn't feel like it was forcing itself in and out of position. I felt like the grip on the bar was pretty solid. Feet were planted on the ground. One major problem that I was having with bench press is that when it comes to, when it's time to really press something heavy, I was leaning a little more to my right side, causing the left leg to lift up, and I'd sweep off the ground. Now, no matter how pinched I am on the bench, if I'm leaning over to one side like that because I'm using more force on my right side because I'm right-handed, that is just naturally going to cause my left leg to lift up, and that's going to, cause a red light in competition. So I'm kind of learning how to keep myself even. My main thing is I have to learn how to stay calm. Once that bar hits my chest, yes, it's go time. However, I need to learn how to stay calm because the strongest are those who are most calm in a fight. You literally stay focused, stay calm, do not panic, and you're all right. Now, when you panic, it causes things like your left leg to lift up. Oh, that's my rest timer. It causes things like your left leg to lift up and imperfections in your lift. You got to stay calm, stay focused. That's what the whole meaning of lock in, that's what it means. To lock in is to stay focused, stay calm, and just get it done. So, all I have left today would be just some minor accessories, nothing too crazy. Just some cable lap pull downs, some chest supported rows, and then some reverse hyper extensions for my back. Still worried about, back health. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say I'm worried about it. We're focused on my back health. We're making sure that our back, we're doing this proper stretches and deep. I like the deep passive squats. I like to hit those quite often, and that's to keep myself mobile. Trying to prevent my body from stiffening up, because when I stiff and you try to move something, that's when, once again, injuries occur. So we just gotta pay attention to these type of things. Overall, I am excited. So now tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, that will be a rest day. Then I come in for one more day Thursday, and then it'll be on to competition on Friday. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get much footage of the comp. I will do everything I can to get that done. My wife should be there, so hopefully, she can get that on video. That'll be great, so we can see how well I do in bench comp. I would say I'm not genuinely nervous about it, because this wasn't something that I genuinely wanted to do. This was something that my coaches kind of brought up to me and said, hey, you should do it. And I'm gonna listen to them because they know more about powerlifting than I do. So it's to the point where it's like they see something that I don't, so let me listen to them. And you do not want to deter yourself from information. You have wise people in front of you telling you something. If you don't listen, it could potentially lead to your demise in the future. So I look at it like as in, hey, let's take their advice, let's listen to them. They see something that I don't, let's get into this. And then when I thought about it, I realized, okay, so if I go to this bench comp and I put new numbers up, so the numbers going into this comp, my goal will definitely smash October's bench. So then when we come into May of this year, May, June, to compete again for full power, I'll have a higher bench standard then, compared to if I just stuck with what I had in October. Then it's like, oh, let's just beat October and I'm okay. That's a lower standard than what I will potentially have coming this Friday. So I look at that as a bright side, and I am pretty excited about it. However, just for it being just bench only, I'm kind of curious as to how that will work. Like, how does that work? It's just one lift compared to 3 that I'm used to. But that's not for me to worry about. What I need to be focused on is perform the lift and make sure you execute. That'll do it for today, guys. Greatly appreciate it. For those who make it all the way to the end of the video, thank you guys. You guys are special for being able to do that. It takes skill to be able to watch a video all the way through nowadays. Most people love that swipe. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Real quick, I just want to say, I know it's time for me to go, but I was talking about hip impingement earlier with the deadlift. Well, during the time of accessories, I came here to this reverse hyper and I hit a 3x12, right? And afterwards, I kind of felt, I wouldn't say a pop, but I did feel some movement in my hip after doing the reverse hypers, right? Then I go over here to the deadlift section over there, and I just kind of went down as if I was getting ready to grab for a deadlift. No hip impingement. So it's things like that that you'll come across, and you'll be like, oh wow, I didn't know that worked. So what I'll make sure I do before deadlift, literally going to be hitting reverse hyper as a warm-up, and it's going to be a mandatory warm-up. So not only am I going to be stretching out my hamstrings and waking up the glutes, I'm also going to come here to the reverse hyper and make sure I get that done. It's a mandatory thing. The fact that I just witnessed that and it worked wonders, and for me not to do that would make me a fool. All right, now it's official. That'll do it for today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Teleport strength. Before you know it, you'll be there.